So in this video, I am going to show you some fun mom Poppet hacks. If your house is like mine, you probably have tons of these poppets all over your house. They're actually super fun. They're supposed to be like a stress reliever, very satisfying to pop. They're kind of like never-ending bubble wrap. You can just keep going and going and going. Great for any age too, and super easy to clean and sterilize. However, is there anything else you can do with these to kind of make it worthwhile that you're always stepping on them in your house? So the first few hacks I'm gonna show you are kind of based around food. One thing you can do with these hacks is make some fun DIY chocolate bars. So super easy to do. First, you just want to take some little candies like M&Ms, marshmallows, Reese's Pieces, sprinkles. In this case, I used M&Ms because I think they just fit in perfectly in the little holes and little bubbles, we'll call them. And then you take some melted chocolate and pour it all over the fidget. Super yummy too to eat that as you're doing it. Then you're going to pop these into the refrigerator. I accidentally popped one of the bubbles while I was doing this. One of the M&Ms came out, but that's okay. It's still going to taste delicious. After it's set, which doesn't take super long, I just kind of kept checking on them. Layla Jane did too. You take them out and just pop them out of the fidget. They'll usually come out as an entire whole, or you can break them up like Kit Kats almost and make them like individual chocolate sticks. This would also be so fun to do with a play date. Imagine having a bunch of your kids' friends over, everyone has their fidget, you have some melted chocolate candy, and everyone does that and makes their own DIY chocolate bar. I think that would be super cute and a fun way to keep the kids entertained. Now, if you want something a little bit healthier, you could also make some DIY yogurt snacks. So with this one, instead of putting candy in each hole or each bubble, you put a piece of fruit, like a blueberry, some cut up strawberries, raspberries, whatever you have, whatever your kid likes. And then you take their favorite yogurt and put it all over the fidget. And then you pop it in the freezer, and I usually let mine set overnight. You don't have to do it that long, but this one does take a little bit longer to set than the chocolate. Then when it's done, you take it out and you pop them out just like you did with the chocolate. You can leave it whole, or you can break it up into little sticks too. Layla Jane loves doing this one, and she decided to help me make one. She has so much fun putting the strawberries in, smearing the yogurt everywhere. And for another one, I thought it'd be kind of fun to see if I could put popsicle sticks on each row. And so I did that, put it back in the freezer, and when they came out, I popped out each one and made them almost like little individual popsicles. So she could hold on to the stick and eat it like a popsicle. Now, only a few of them broke and kind of made like mini popsicles, but most of them turned out really cute, and I was really happy how they turned out. And from now on, I'm definitely going to be making it using the popsicle sticks because I think it's just a lot cleaner and the yogurt doesn't melt on their hands if they're taking a long time to eat it too. Now, these ones you do want to make sure you store in the freezer if they don't eat them all in one sitting, because if you put them in the fridge or out and just on the counter, the yogurt will melt back into its usual form. Another sweet one is to make a giant gummy. So this one was actually kind of fun to do. You take another poppet and you place gummy bears all over it. And then I took a hairdryer and melted the gummy bears. I had no idea what to expect, and the gummy bears kind of flew off, so I put it on low, my hairdryer, but they're still kind of flying off the poppet and it just wasn't melting. So I figured, okay, I'm just going to put my hairdryer on high so that it blasted with heat really fast. And I just kind of put the hairdryer on one gummy bear at a time to make sure I wasn't just blowing a bunch of them off the fidget. And that seemed to work really well. And surprisingly, the gummy bears melted pretty quickly. So once you get them all to melt onto your fidget, you just let it set. I let mine set a couple hours because I wanted to make sure it was completely cooled. And then you just pull it out of the poppet. It came out super easy, and I had a giant gummy. It was really cool. I've seen other methods where people microwave the gummies and almost liquefy them and then pour them in the poppet. But I tried that and it did not work. I just burned the gummy bears. One thing that I would do differently next time though is I would get like a more fun shaped Poppet and make some kind of fun shaped big gummy bears. Like we have this Peppa Pig one, and I think that would have been kind of fun to make a Peppa Pig gummy, but I would have needed a lot of gummy bears for this one. My last food one is making some fun ice cubes. So I take some water and I dye them different colors just with some regular food coloring. And then I'll fill one row with one cup with one color like red, next row with blue, and the next one with green. And then I'll freeze those. And then when I take them out, sometimes I'm lucky and I can pop it out and it'll be like a row of ice cubes kind of all stuck together. And I think those look kind of cool. This time I didn't have as much luck. They kind of all broke, but those are fun too because they're just like little jewels or little pebbles that Layla thinks they look like. And then I just put them in Layla's water and they makes the water turn a fun color, and she just loves that. It makes her drink more and it just makes it pretty, and it's just something fun and different and kind of cute to do for the kids. So that was it for the food ones that I have done. The next one is a learning one. Now I know you can buy Poppets that already have numbers and letters written on each bubble, but for me, if I have so many of these around my house, I might as well not waste money and buy new ones and just use these and write the numbers myself on them. So I took one and wrote the numbers 1 through 20 on them. And with this, I used them to help Layla Jane learn her numbers and her number recognition and just with counting. So for instance, I might say, pop the number 5, and she has to go find the number 5 and pop it. Or go find the number after 8 and pop it. And she does that one. And that's just kind of a fun way to help her learn her numbers. You could also do letters, and again, that would help with letter recognition. Or you could have them spell words or spell their name, or do phonics, say find the letter that has the sound J, and they have to go find that letter. So many endless possibilities to use with fidgets that just make learning fun and make it more of a game instead of learning for them. The next one is really fun to do if you're on a beach vacation and you can bring some Poppets to the sand. But if you're not going to be at the beach, you can use Kinetic Sand too, which works just as fine. So I actually love Kinetic Sand. I think it's really fun to play with. And one thing you do is kind of flatten out the Kinetic Sand and then stick a Poppet on it. And then when you peel the Poppet off, it makes like a sand Poppet. And then you and your little one or your little one and their friends can go and pop the sand Poppet. Now, the first time I did it with just one of the silicone Poppets. And that one was a little bit harder to take off and still have like a nice looking Poppet in the sand. The next time I used a Poppet that had the harder case around it. Now that one was super easy. So I definitely recommend using some type of Poppet with like a harder outer shell on it because it just makes it easier to lift off from the sand. Another fun activity you can do with this is painting. I never have paint containers for Layla Jane. I always end up just getting a paper plate and just kind of putting some blobs of paint. They end up always getting mixed together. I end up using too much and having to throw it all away, and it just becomes a waste and a big mess. With these Poppets, you can use each bubble to put a different color of paint in, and it just kind of keeps it all contained, it keeps it neat, and if you're using kids' washable paint, it washes right off the Poppet, so you don't have to worry about staining it. And it just makes painting a little bit more fun because there are Poppets involved. You can also play some fun games with Poppets. Now, Layla Jane's a little bit too young to really understand like the method behind Tic Tac Toe and like what you're trying to accomplish, but you can always use a 3x3 Poppet to play Tic Tac Toe and just use like little M&Ms or something as whatever person, if you're X or O. And even if you don't have a 3x3 Poppet, you could use a bigger one and just say like, okay, we're gonna use this 3x3 section to play Tic Tac Toe. And just kind of makes a fun way to do it if you don't have some pencil and paper around. Now, another fun and super surprising one for me was making Poppet Soap. So for this one, I just took a regular white bar of soap and I shredded it. I just used my cheese grater and shredded it down. You can also just use a knife and kind of cut it up, and it actually kind of shreds the soap as you're using your knife too. And then I put it all in a microwave safe bowl and microwaved it, and it kind of melted the soap a little bit. You had to work fast because at least the soap I used, Dove, it started to clump and form back pretty soon after I took it out. So as soon as I got it out of the microwave, I went and pressed it into the mold of a Poppet. And then I let it set. This one did not have to set for long at all. I basically just waited for it to cool. And then I took it out of the Poppet and it made a Poppet bar of soap. It was so cool. I absolutely loved it, and it makes bath time so much more fun because Layla thinks it's so cool to have a Poppet bar of soap. One thing though I would love to try next time is find maybe some different colored soaps to shred and maybe make it multicolored or tie-dye or something like that. But I could only find white bars of soap, and so I need to look a little bit harder next time and see if I can find something a little bit different or add some glitter or something like that just to make it even prettier and more special. But there you have it. Those are my mom Poppet hacks to use these so they have a little bit more purpose in them in your house. If you have some fun ones too, let me know in the comments below. All right, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.